Well, the biggest challenge that India is facing is obviously of inadequate quantities of energy that it is able to make available to various economic activities as well as for lifestyle purposes. So shortages are both in terms of physical shortages as well as financial shortages to be able to bring the investments that are required to be able to produce energy. So that shortage situation is reflecting itself in reduced economic growth. It is reflecting itself in very high cost coping strategies for the population that is involved, because what is happening is that we are beginning to use diesel based generating options, and that is because that is the longest established technology and people are comfortable, and there is a service industry that exists around diesel based power generation. But from a climate perspective, from an energy security perspective, it is so much more difficult to have a shift to diesel from centralized electricity generation, even if it is coal based. The other key challenge that we are facing is that the absence of energy is exacerbating a number of other developmental challenges that we have. India is a country that is semi-arid. We do have a reasonable precipitation level in the country, but we haven't been able to manage our water resources very well. So as a result, we have two problems, one in the urban areas, one in the rural areas. In urban India, we have a number of our cities going dry because we are not managing our water well. But managing our water well would mean that we are able to recycle the water, we are able to treat the wastewater that is generated, we are able to store water properly, etc., and make it available when needed, all of which are energy intensive operations. So management of water in urban areas is one key problem. The second is in rural areas. 65% of Indian agriculture is still rain-fed. So not only does that reduce the productivity of Indian lands, agricultural lands, but it also increases our vulnerability to climate change. So India has to increase the area under irrigation. That will increase its food security, it will improve its nutritional security, and it will improve the adaptive capacity of its population. But we don't have enough energy that is going into rural areas. So that is the second key challenge. To further exacerbate the problem of water and food is the fact that we waste 40% of our agricultural produce because we don't have sufficient storage facilities and facilities for transporting agricultural produce to the markets in reasonable conditions. So again, the absence of energy reflects itself in the absence of cold chains, which reflects itself in poor quality of food that gets to the final consumer. So the number of interlinked challenges. The other main challenge that we have, this is from a security and overall supply and reliability of supply dimension. The other main challenge, of course, is of energy access. We have 650 million people who do not have access to clean cooking energy solutions, and we have another 350 to 400 million people who don't get electricity in their homes. So how do we cater to the needs of this segment of the population? There are two approaches, once again, one that we have tried for decades, which is that you keep extending the grid as far as possible and try and provide centralized electricity to homes. That has a challenge because we have insufficient electricity generation even for the densely populated regions of the country. When we start moving this electricity out into remote areas, not only are we increasing the costs of supplying electricity, but we are also increasing the losses that take place in the system. So it's a lose-lose situation to go in that particular approach. Today we have the advantage of having decentralized energy technologies that are available to us, of having good communication technologies and an evolving communications infrastructure, all of which can come together to provide completely new solutions to the challenges that we are facing.